This is the ValueMax Oscillating Saw. Okay, comes with the device, a 20 volt 2 amp battery. It comes with a sanding attachment with 15 different sanding pads. There's 5 80 grit, 5 60 grit, and 5 120 grit. Comes with 5 different blades. One is just a scraper blade that you put on. There's 3 that are 1 3/8 inch, but this one looks like it's got a, and I've never used one of these before, a heavier metal connector, and then 2 normal ones that same width, 1 3/8, and then this is a 3/4 inch wide blade. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to go along and clean up the edge along this remodeling job here, where we're just going to fix the drywall and patch this up here. All right, ready?
Yep.
Okay, so the oscillating saw has a dial here, so you can go up to speeds from 1 to 6. I've been trying it on 3 just to see how it works. Switch is here. Again, blade release here. They want you to take off the battery anytime you're doing some adjustment, common sense. Open up the blade, put the blade in. The chuck is what I'm opening up. I'm putting the blade in. Make sure the things are in there correctly. Tighten it up and it's in place. Put your battery on and then turn the power. So we're doing this blade, works pretty good, the saw works good, and we just got to figure out how to patch this drywall up correctly. Okay, it took us about 10 minutes or so just to clean up that edge. This is kind of an awkward space here. I just didn't want to put a whole bunch of plaster or something in there, but the oscillating saw worked fairly nice, quick and easy. And we got, so we can do some kind of square corners or whatever. We'll figure that out when we drywall it. Out the sanding feature of this ValueMax oscillating saw. It has a sanding attachment that comes with 5 80 grit sandpapers, 5 60 and 5 120 grit. I've got a little table here. I've been in the process of stripping down and sanding, so I've got quite a bit of stuff here. I'm not going to do the whole sanding job today, but I just want to quickly try out this tool. So I got quite a buildup here of paint and stripper that's still left on here. So I'm gonna try out this sander, see how it works. got the top and the edge of the top done using the 80 grit sandpaper. Doesn't look too bad. I'm going to have to go over it with the 60 grit and the 120 grit. I can see the 80 grit kind of scratch this up a little bit. What I'm going to attempt now is see how it works on this real messy end here. These legs here got quite a bit of buildup, some purple paint. That's some of the paint stripper that was left on there. Okay, so all right, been about 15 minutes or so. There's a lot of buildup starting on the pad. I've rotated that pad 2 or 3 times to take advantage of the corners there. But you can see it's cleaned up this end of the table, the legs pretty good. There's still some purple paint on there. I can kind of make it out, so I'll have to keep sanding. I'm going to change the paper and try it a little bit more on this end and see how that works. Okay, I've used all 3 grits of sandpaper. Started with 80, then 60, then 120, and had a little groove here I had to clean out with a knife here, and the edge of the sander got up into this crease here where the side meets the top. I also had to use a little knife there to clean that up a bit, but it did a pretty good job of sanding that. It's not quite ready to stain yet. I still got to do the other 3 sides. Got the top mostly done. Top doesn't look too bad here. I'm still going to have to do a little bit of work here before I stain it and put some kind of finish on it. But it actually doesn't look too bad. The 120 grit sandpaper worked out some of the scratches that the 80 grit did. It looks like there's a little bit of a scratch there still, but anyway, the sander feature worked reasonably well here. It'll make the sides especially a lot easier to do with all the creases and the supports, and you can see I still got quite a bit of stuff to clean off here. That purple paint got into some of the grain of the wood there, so I'm not quite sure if I don't want to keep sanding it. The legs actually aren't solid oak. They have some veneer on them, so I was in danger of scraping that veneer off a little bit in some places. Okay, I've used this device for probably an hour and a half, and I can check the battery here. You can see I'm down 1 square after an hour and a half, basically hour and a half straight of use. Right?